Patience, we will call meeting to order. Thank you for coming out tonight. Start with our opening remarks. Development agreement with the Digby Area Housing Coalition Society to permit the redevelopment of Civic 81 Montague Road, bid 30229-785, for the purposes of establishing a 34-unit residential dwelling, associated common use facilities and multi-purpose space as proposed in the application as associated site planning and building details dated December 2nd, 2024. Legal hearing. So we will start with some written submissions, and the first one is from David and Granny Moore.
Okay. I'm tired. Turn on me.
There you
Okay. First one is from David Warner. And says, Mr. Ossinger, I spoke with you this morning. My wife Randy and myself, David, live at 87 First Avenue, bid number 3203-0213. Following our comments, concerns on the above property, bid number 30229-785. The letter sent to us reads the town is going to be a direct part of this development beyond the normal civic requirements. Parking, will there be sufficient parking lot spots for the number of tenants on the property? Our concerns are parking going onto over onto adjacent streets. Structure blend in, will the building itself blend in the buildings in the immediate area? Will garbage bins be placed in a specific area in or outside of the building? And we will that area be fenced so that residents that face that section will not have them in sight, as well as odors that could develop in the warm months to be blocked by fencing. Driveways where will any driveways be placed? Right now it is at the front of Montague Road. Our concerns are additional traffic on First Avenue, and we will try to make the meeting. However, just in case we can't, send in this inquiry. Please respond at your convenience. David Rainey Water.
And then the next one is from Rick Vernon.
And the one that says, hi Tom, I'm not in Digby, so unable to attend the meeting. My property at 86 Montague Road is under management of ABC, copied above. If possible, I would like to add to the proceedings my concerns over the development when it comes to noise and other disruptions, and if necessary, how this will be dealt with and or compensated for by the developer.
Okay. So now we'll move on to the acceptance of oral submissions. So I ask if you have something to say or comment on this development. Could you please step forward, address myself, the chair, and please give your name and address. So anyone wants to step up? We're ready. Comments? General discussion of this development. Anyone?
Just a quick question for the received written submissions. We'll get a copy of those to review.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, this should have been put in back.
Oh, there's okay.
Leave it on your desk, but
There's something in there that I can't open.
Oh, so I didn't hear the question.
Well, that question was about the written submission for the council to have a copy of it. the answer is yes.
Okay, so it's probably,
Yeah.
I guess,
So it's not what was sent to you on Friday, because
okay.
we didn't get, both submissions didn't come until this morning.
Yes,
And council, do we know how long the process for the building will be, the actual building part?
how long the,
The construction,
oh, the construction?
do they have any idea of time?
I don't do it.
We didn't get into construction
Nothing at all.
phase and lines on the actual construction. I don't know if Nancy could shed any light on that, but I'm doubtful because she probably knows that her and I have been keeping in contact with the designing engineers and that. So at this point, it's a matter of getting it off the ground to put the contract and seeking funding, so.
I ballpark 6 months, we just hope, it all depends also on. We have the builder, they're ready to go, they've been ready to go, but there's a materials issue, so, but hopefully 6 months, but, nothing's sure because we make it on schedule.
So the development agreement does have a 2-year clause in it that if construction does not commence within a 2-year period, then it becomes null and void. So we're back to the thing. So that doesn't say that they just have to commence, and basically what that means is some footings and walls are started to actually see construction happen. So
Do they normally in Nova Scotia, when they do a big building like that, like block it off quite nicely so the surrounding buildings don't get completely dusty and dirty and super loud and everything?
I would say I can't speak to the construction company, but they will be, have to follow all of the normal construction things. It's like if they're gonna create a lot of dust, and that's like the work that was going on at the hospital, it seemed that they
Yeah,
described
like that.
that and to keep the dust down from going elsewhere off site. So, with new construction, I'm not sure, and with construction, a lot of it may not create as much dust as it would if it was concrete.
All right, Chris, any comments on this development?
So just quickly, this is the third time that this proposal has actually been in front of council at a public hearing. The applicant over time has, the project has changed, it has evolved. The reason that we're here for this third time is that the applicant has made some adjustments to the site plan, and the site plan is actually part of the approval through the development agreement process. So initially, again, going back to 2003, actually, the planning committee and council have supported the proposal. And really why we're here is that the details, specifically with the site plan, have been updated and form a part of the approval. So that's really the purpose of tonight's hearing and the subsequent discussion that council will have.
Okay, thanks, Chris. After hearing Chris, does anybody have any other discussion? No? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the next one. The Digby Land Use Bylaw Schedule A, zoning map, to rezone lands of Robin Park, King Street, bid 303-80059 from residential low density to residential medium density. So we'll ask Chris to comment on this first, and then we'll give you a chance to.
Yeah, sure, thanks. This is fairly straightforward. You've received a planning advisory committee report with your package. In the town, the residential low-density zone that applies to most of the existing neighborhoods allows 1 and 2 unit development. To do 4-unit development, you need to be in the medium density zone. So that's what this application is for. It's to permit the construction of a 4-unit residential building, self-contained 4 units. A lot of people call them kind of double duplex, and there are a number of them in the town on King Street, basically across from the backside of the high school. The property itself hasn't been given a civic number because there's no building on it, but it's PID 30380059. It's a vacant lot on the east side of King Street, as I said, behind the high school. There's a variety of existing single unit, 2-unit, and 4-unit development in the area, in addition to commercial uses and institutional uses, and the courthouse and other institutional uses. So it's a well-established residential area with a mix of different development types already in place. The lot slopes from west to east. The committees looked at the policies that relate to rezoning from the low density to the medium density, and they're primarily policies R4, R5, and R6, and policy IM7, which is our implementation and general criteria for rezoning. The criteria that we look at deal with a number of issues: the adequacy of sewer and water, adequacy of school facilities, adequacy of fire and emergency protection services, potential impact on adjacent uses, the adequacy of the road network, whether or not the proposal has any financial implications for the town, and the suitability of the lot itself with respect to things like steepness, grade, soil, that water courses and that type of thing. So the planning committee has reviewed the relevant residential and implementation policies and found that, in fact, the proposal complies and or is consistent with the criteria specifically in policy IM7. The lot itself has about 10,000 square feet and about 83 feet on King Street. The site plan, a site plan has been provided with the proposal. A building rendering has not, but 4 units of basically 2 and 2, 2 on top of 2. And the proposal and the site don't represent any challenges with respect to the primary criteria of servicing, community and school facilities, emergency protection, road network, or implications for financial capacity of the town. So the committee has recommended, and it would be on page 7 of that report, that the Digby Land Use Bylaw Schedule A, which is the zoning map, be amended to rezone these lands, PID 30380059, from low density RLD to residential medium density RMD.
Thank you, Chris. We'll move on to the written submissions. Do we have any written submissions? No, no written submissions for this development. Once again, we'll open it to oral submissions, and if you could please address your comments to myself, the chair, and let us know your name and your address, please. Microphone is open if somebody would like to speak about it. Okay, into general discussion. Any general discussion? on this particular development.
But I believe this development, just for the folks in the room so they're aware, it's quite similar to the one that was built one street down. So on Second Avenue, I believe, there's a building that's gonna look, if it ends up being the same, quite similar, so to the one that's already being constructed on Second. So looks like it's quality construction, and I believe they've got long-term tenants in that building, and that would be their, this one should be complete.
Any other discussion? Discussion? Motion for adjournment. So moved. McCormick, seconded.
Second.
That's what, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you very much.